All right, guys. I've gotten a lot of requests here lately for some of the newer quote unquote generation of fox hunter, field trial hunter to come on to the show. I think everybody really enjoyed the JMO John Mulner episodes. So kind of wanted to get some, quote unquote younger people in here and get them on. So tonight, Clint Thompson. If I feel like I say this a lot on these intros, but if you've been around and you've probably seen Clint and his brother at a field trial or two, and probably got your butt smoked by them. So we'll sit down and talk about some of their previous successes and what they got looking forward to in the future. So y'all sit back, again, relax. Let's do it, guys. Drop the gate. Welcome, everybody, to the Hound's Tales podcast. This is your home for field trialing and deer dog hunting. It'll be stories and discussions on the world of dog hunting. So let's drop the gate, cast your hounds, and get ready for another episode of the Hound's Tales podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Hound's Tales podcast. Tonight, we have some of the future of the sport joining us tonight. Mr. Clint Thompson, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm doing good, James. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I've had a few people request me. Even your brother, Tyler Mullins, requested you, so I figured I better get you on here.
Don't put that bad juju.
No, he was definitely one of the ones that suggested you. So, for everybody that's listening, don't really, they don't know who you are yet. Why don't you just kind of give us a little rundown? Give us a little background on you, who you are. Dog hunting background, and what got you into the sport, man.
Yeah. So, Clint Thompson. I live in South Hill, Virginia, just north of the North Carolina line on 85, pretty much. Been having dogs since I can remember, from rabbit dogs to coon dogs to we had a pack of deer beagles at one time. Came at the dog hunting thing from about every angle and fell in love with the fox hunting and been super blessed to be able to do this with my brother. I guess he was probably 16 when we got our pack of our own dogs, when he got his driver's license. So that would put me at about 8 years old. So it's about all is getting home from school then and feeding dogs. And it's been in our blood. Our grandfather did it, all his brothers. And so I'd say it's in my blood.
That's right. Did they field trial, or were they just houndsmen, or did they competition hunt?
Yeah. So my grandfather himself field trialed some, kept a pack of deer dogs. They used to do some outside fox hunting there around home. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he ever field trialed extremely hard, competition wise, but he always, I can remember stories of when they ran the Virginia State or the Southeastern Night Trial right there at Elm Hill, which is about probably 15 miles from where we grew up. So he definitely did some competitions. Now his brother's Walter Cleaton. A lot of folks will know him.
Yeah,
he was that was my great uncle. He field trialed pretty hard and steady, and then judged in his later years. I know when he passed, as he was going downhill, we went over to his house to visit him one day, and he probably had about, if I had to guess, 150 hats from different field trials
no
where he
kidding.
Yeah, pretty wild.
I hope y'all kept those around.
Yeah. We don't have them, but yeah, they're still around. And the other brother, Jackie Cleaton, and his son Johnny, they field trialed some. They actually used to have a fox pen there near the house. It's no longer in operation, but it's kind of where my brother and I cut our teeth with the whole running in the fox pen deal. and breaking our puppies and stuff like that. So,
I got you.
yeah, it's kudos to those. Actually, the first time I can ever remember going to a field trial was with Walter. We called him Wally.
Right.
Judged the Old Yeller outside hunt, which now is the Lake Hills Crushers hunt here in Elm Hill. It's actually this weekend. And obviously then they were figuring everything by hand. And I can remember we left the house that morning at 4:30, and at 4:30 that evening they were still figuring endurance. So we were 12 hours into the day, and we were still in the judges' room.
Ooh. I'm glad those days are over. I know that much.
It's a long day. I can remember on the way home falling asleep, and he would slam on brakes and wake me up. And
teach you the hard way, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome. I love it. So that's pretty cool, man, that you were able to be raised up in that kind of thing. Did y'all do any kind of competition hunting in the other dog, like the coon hunt and stuff, or any of the rabbit trials and stuff like that?
Yeah, never with the coon hunting. Definitely did a few rabbit trials. We have a rabbit pen here. It's actually probably less than 2 miles from my house now, that they used to hold a lot of AKC or SPO inline field trials there. And I can't say that I helped out with many. My brother did more of that. But we had a few dogs one time that we took to a field trial up there, and got our tails handed to us pretty good. But a little bit of, really didn't get into the competition aspect until we got into fox dogs.
Gotcha. And then beagle trials, they're a whole, I guess, I don't know nothing about them, but I think they're a whole lot different, the way you're scoring and the way they're ran and that kind of thing with the beagle trials, right?
Yeah, so they're split out by size. So you'll have your 15 and split out by gender as well. So you have your 15-inch females and then your 13-inch females, and same with the males. It's really the judge stays with the pack of dogs at all times.
Gotcha.
He kind of try to never take his eyes off the dogs. So in the case in which we were doing it, they were this was a SPO inline field trial, and if a dog pulled out while the track was hot and tried to cut on the dog in front of him, that's a fault. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's kind of the exact opposite of what,
right.
But that's the great thing about dog hunting. It's just about anything that you want to do, you can find a competition that suits you.
Yeah, that's right. Even in the pen world that we're doing, it's you can find a pen that suits what what kind of style running that you like and that kind of stuff,
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So the past few years, y'all have had some pretty good success here. Why don't you kind of touch on that? Go ahead and brag for a little bit, man. Y'all have been working your butts off and had some success a whole lot here lately. So why don't you kind of go over some of y'all's previous successes over the past couple of years?
Yeah, man. And you said it right. None of it has came. None of it comes easy for anybody. You can go now to a puppy hunt within a 30-mile radius of your house, and it'll be 10 dogs there that are just as nice as anybody's hunting. It's really kudos to everybody that's running dogs now, that's really putting their eye on them. But no, my brother and I have been blessed, man. We've made three field champions in our career. We won I can't even remember the year of our first field champion. It was at Joe Lewis's. It was the East Coast Classic. A dog named Thompson's Willie. He was a Jimmy B. Ended up selling him, and he threw a ton of really nice one-day dogs in eastern North Carolina. You still see his name now, honestly.
Yep, I know. I've seen it. Yep.
Yeah, Doug Price has done an excellent job promoting him and really putting some nice bitches up under him. And then the next one we won, they say the first field champion's hard and the second one's even harder.
Mm-hmm.
It was a few years later. We won the Georgia State there at Swainsboro.
Okay.
With a bitch by Cox's Raj. Her name was Friendly. Is Friendly. Actually just got a litter of puppies off of her this week.
Okay. I gotcha. What'd you take her to?
I bred her to the next dog I'm going to talk about. Won the American Invitational with a dog named Humpy. He's a true pleasure to hunt. He's a Charlie by one of David Wayne Rutledge's bitches, Brown Sugar. Got a pretty good race here coming by me.
I'll say I hear it. I hear it.
Yeah. Anywho, he's a true pleasure to hunt, man. He was one of those dogs that it didn't matter where you took him. If it was real good running, that's a bitch there I call. She's by Z.
Okay.
Got a good mouth yeah. But anywho, Humpy, he was a true pleasure to hunt. It didn't matter if it was heads up coyote hunting or if we had to get down and hunt and try to get after a gray fox. He's truly been a fun dog to hunt, and he's really starting to produce some dogs for us that I really like.
Now, which year did y'all win the invitational with him?
So that would have been 2020, 21 at Creedmoor.
Gotcha.
Yes,
I thought it was halfway. I thought it was here pretty recent. I thought that was right.
Yeah, and then the next year we did pretty good. The year Little Mule actually won the Invitational at Vaden's. We were third there at the Invitational. We actually, the same year Humpy won, the bitch we call Friendly was third. We were third that weekend. Been really lucky, man. I talk a lot about the success stories here, but it's definitely been some of those hunts where there's a long ride home. It doesn't matter if it's
That's right.
House when you get the tail skin up, it's still a long ride home.
That's right. That's right. And I will say, I think you're the first person to be recording with me while running dogs. I love that. I love it, man. That's dedication right there. I love it.
Well, actually going on a little family vacation this weekend. Actually leaving tomorrow, so wanted to try to get a run in on them before I left. And football is actually my brother. He's going to be judging the outside hunt this weekend, so he's going to have his hands full with that. So I told him I'd stretch the legs a little bit tonight.
There you go. Yep, get a run in. There you go. Yeah, we ran up here Monday night and got a good little stretch in, but we'll be back at it again next week. So it ain't nothing like them middle of the week runs that really put some dedication in your tail.
Well, yeah, you got to do it though, because I can tell you, if you're not running, my dad used to always say, if you're not practicing, when we're playing sports, if you're not practicing, somebody else is. And I can tell you, the competition level now, if you aren't putting your work in, I can guarantee you the next man down the street is doing it.
It is, and I agree 100%. I've had a lot of people message me here lately, just kind of looking for advice and that kind of stuff, and I'm no expert at this stuff, but, man, I can tell you, if you're not ready to put in the work like we're talking about right now, then you're fighting a losing battle, especially if you're looking at the multi-day world.
Yeah, man, it doesn't matter. It is. I tell people all the time, I feel like there's a pack of dogs on every corner of every street now.
Right.
And it is, and then there's some guys out here that are working, guys and girls that are working extremely hard, and if you're not putting the time in, I can tell you the results will speak for it.
That's it. I know one of the early episodes I had, Dennis Scott told me, and he told me this when I was first getting into it. He said, I don't care what kind of dog you get. Whatever dog it is, it's 25% the mama, 25% the daddy, and 50% the owner. If you're gonna screw around and leave that 50% on your end out of that dog, it could be another daggone, whoever you want to reference him to, but could be another Humpy, and he'll never get that chance if you're not going to pick up your 50%.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. It's that's a lot of truth in what Dennis said. And but anywho, before the dogs came by and got my mind,
Right.
uh, we did we did make a duel at the Florida State. I believe that was in 22. Bitch we call Lulu. Um, and she's a pleasure to hunt as well. She's actually due to have puppies tomorrow out of Humpy, so we're pretty close on being puppy poor.
I get it. I get it. Well, and just like you're saying, there's a pack of, there's a new pack coming behind every corner. So if you don't, and that's one thing that it took me a while to understand. It was like, if you don't keep pups on the ground and get the next litter coming, then you're just putting yourself behind the game.
Yeah, Bruce Clyburn told me something. I grew up right here around Bruce and the boys. Grew up with Brett and Vince, and Bruce probably doesn't even remember telling me this, but I guarantee you he'll still agree with it. If you don't have a group of young dogs or a group of puppies coming, you're behind.
Yep.
And that's damn true.
Yep. I've been told that so much, and hell, I mean, I got one litter just hit the ground last week, and I got another, and this one was an accident, but I got another litter hitting the ground here in about 2 months. So, and like you said, I'm about to be puppy poor here pretty soon.
That's right.
Oh man. So, yeah, I would, just from listening to you kind of talking, which one of those three champions that y'all made, or hell, even the duel, you include her in it. Which one do you think has probably been your favorite to run?
Man, that's a loaded question.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a loaded question. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, the favorite dog I probably ever had to run never made a champion. Her name was Topsy.
Okay.
She is, hell, I think she's 13. I don't know how many times we've bred her. I don't know how many dogs we have at home off of her. Or Graham, I think most everything we've got is, except I'd say 85% of what we got here at home is either off of her or a grandpuppy off of her. She's really the kind of the roots to what started some of our success. She was the real deal.
Right.
She's really what showed me what a dog that truly had some speed and could do everything. She showed my brother and I really what that was. I can remember taking her to her side, and I don't know if you ever got to run her side.
No, never got to.
Okay, so that was about 100-acre pen, wide open, down around Bullitt, North Carolina, and we took her to a one-day hunt there, and I don't know, she placed. I don't want to quote myself wrong.
Mm-hmm.
She was actually second, I think, 9 times, including a 3-day.
Good God.
Won one hunt, but she finished second or finished in the top 10 somewhere, and it's when they had just came out with the Garmin Alpha, and her collar messed up, and we couldn't shock her. She wasn't ready to be killed. She was done running. And so we left her there. My brother and I went home. It's the best dog. I didn't barely get any sleep that night.
Right.
And then we woke up at the crack of dawn the next morning and went down there. And when we pulled in the gate, a coyote hit the road, and she was about 10 steps behind it.
Ah.
And it's just like, wow, that I'm not saying, I'm sure she stopped and took a break.
Right.
She didn't put like that for that long.
Yeah.
It just kind of, what kind of heart that, if you get a good one, what kind of heart and what kind of engine them things have.
That's right. That seems to be the common consensus around people's, quote unquote favorite dog. It's the ones that show you they got more heart. Not that they don't, of course you want speed and you want hunt, you want all that kind of stuff. You want all that good, all that good juju in them. But, the ones that have the heart always seem to make the favorites of everybody.
Yeah, I tell this all the time, and somebody else told me this. I don't remember, but in order to finish first you must finish.
Yep.
And that's the key to it, man. And like I said, she only ever won one day hunt, and that was at her side. But she just special, man. And it's gonna be surely a sad day at Cash Flow Kennels whenever she decides to pass on. But
Yeah.
I hope she lives to be 100.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You know, I kind of picked up on one thing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but all the champions y'all made, it was all at different pens, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, every champion we've made has been at different pens.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. I can respect that a whole lot. You know, you hear a lot of people, you know, have got champions, but they make it at the same kind of places almost a lot of, you know, not every time or all the time, but, you know, some of the ones, some of these guys that are repeat champions are doing it in the same hole. But y'all have gone, I mean, hell, where was would you say the Central Florida? Is that what you said?
No, the Florida State.
Florida State.
Yep, the OTN.
I got you. That's another. You know, that's two pens I want to get down to. Is down there in Swainsboro and OTE. You know, both of those pens. I hear a lot of good stuff about them, and just it's one of those ones. To me, it's about like old Tram. You know, you always hear these old pens or older pens with a lot of heritage and a lot of how do I say it? A lot of prestige behind the pen name, and it's just. That's two of the places I'd love to get down to and experience.
Yeah, I've had great experiences at both of them, man, and my brother and I, and then you know the group of friends that we're hunting with, typically like to take a trip here at the first of the year to go somewhere different, experience something else. And have had some great experiences. There's a bunch of pens I haven't been to yet that I'd like to get to.
Right.
One of them. The Big Rock. I hadn't been to the Big Rock.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I really want to get down there. I really want to, you know, I want to get a picture on that rock, man.
Yeah. I have something that gets his name called so I can take a picture on the rock.
That's right.
But I talked to Paul, seen him at some field trials, man, first class. Paul Cassidy, first class, man. His whole family. I want to get down there. I went to Tomahawk this year for the first time for the 2-day derby down there. That was a super, super good running pen. Big light line runs right through the middle. Get all the crossings you want. It's right in the face. If you're doing well, you're real happy. And you can tell if you're getting your tails kicked because you're not wanting to get on those binoculars and check them cross.
That's right. That's about like I really want to make a trip up to Kentucky. I really want to get up. I think it's Twin Oaks is the name of that one. I want to get up there to that pen.
Yeah, I want to do the same thing, man. Actually, Colby Taylor and I saw where Merle Hogg posted his schedule, and Colby and I were talking about maybe trying to get up there. So yeah, there's still several places on my bucket list. I'd love to be leaving this weekend with them boys headed to the All-American, but just couldn't make it happen this year.
Yeah, who you telling, man? I'm gonna try my damnedest next year to go to one of the either for charity and the Nationals or the All-American. I'm gonna try my damnedest to get to one of them next year.
Yeah, those big hunts, man, and like you were talking about earlier, the heritage, the history, and you know, walking your dogs out on a leash where they walked out. You know, some of the most famous dogs in history. It's pretty cool to think about.
Right. I mean, it scares me being on the outside, but shoot, I would ignore every second of it just to go down there and experience it. Like you said, I mean, I was talking to I know brain farted on his name now. Derek Doss. I was talking to him, and he went down there for the first time last year, and he was like, man, you know, I think he categoried one dog in the hunting category, and he's like, man, just to even be associated with that hunt and those old, those old names and those historic names in the sport, even if it was just a category, you know, now I feel honored that I can have my name on those books.
Yeah, and hell yeah, it's an honor, man. You go down there and it'll be 5, 6, 7, 800 dogs. Those hunts just aren't around anymore that can carry the total load of that type of entry, and it's special, man. I mean, it's the luck of the draw. You can get after a bad piece of game, I think, and not do so well, but
right.
You know, it's part of it. Everybody's got the same playing field.
That's right. Well, hell, like you said, even if you go down there, you're going down for the experience. You know, I know exactly. the old common thing that everybody says, oh, I'm going down here to have fun and that kind of stuff. But, that's true for, 50% of the part. But, all these other ones you're there to win. You're not there to just have fun. But something like that, you can 100% say you're going down there to get the experience and be in that environment.
Yeah, that'd be some of it. But, I'm a competitor, though.
Right.
I might be dead last, but when I show up, I'm thinking about winning.
Yep, that's right. That's a long ass ride back home after that loss.
Yeah. I think about the sport, and it's a lot like professional golf or maybe NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a really, really good year, you win a race,
right?
Or you win a golf tournament, and you place in several. It's not many of those Tiger Woods that come around and win 10. Tiger Woods only won 8 or 10 times a year.
Right.
Think about that.
Right.
The success this sport will humble the hell out of you. It's been times where you're struggling, you're going through a dry spell, and they call your name out 10th, and you're like, damn, hell yeah,
right.
I got the monkey off my back.
Yep.
And then there's times where you pull up at a field trial and you kind of got that in your mind. It's not where I'm gonna or if I'm gonna place. It's what I'm gonna place or what place I'm gonna place. It's momentum driven, man. It's when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not.
Yeah, that's for sure. And like you said, it's a humbling sport. I mean, hell, I can speak from experience on that. I hit a pretty good lick last year at the Tidewater, and then the rest of the year I didn't hit a damn thing. Like it brought me all the way up to almost the top as you can get, and then it dropped me right back down. Man, it did.
Hey, the loneliest place in the world is the top of the mountain, and it sure doesn't take long to fall from.
That's right. That's right. But, and to me, it's all about how you use it, though. A lot of people can get discouraged from it and just bail out. But if you can use that and almost use it as motivation, I mean, hell, like you're out there right now running dogs, and, who knows how long you're going to run tonight. But, that can be used as motivation to keep you out there and say, oh, I ain't going to this next one and get my ass kicked, I'm going to do everything in my power to go out there and beat these guys. Yeah,
it's you're right. It definitely motivates us. I hate to lose. I don't care if we're drawing straws. If I finish second, I'm not happy.
That's right.
but on the same part, you got to take the small successes as they come and help fuel your fire to build up. Like I said, you don't get a chance and get the opportunities to win a ton of these things. It's the competition's there. Anywhere you want to set a dog down, if you got some going out the third day in the top 10, those opportunities don't come around. You get 2 or 3 opportunities like that a year where you're set up to win something, and when you squander one away, it hurts for a little while. But definitely got to use that to stoke the fire and get right back on the horse and try to make it happen.
Right, 100%. So, you talked about that y'all kind of y'all kind of dabbled into a bunch of different forms of dog hunting. So as far as the field trial and stuff, who kind of was responsible for getting y'all into the field trialing side of dog hunting?
Man, it's several people. Like I said, Walter Cleaton,
mm-hmm.
he took me to judge my first hunt, and it meant a whole lot to me to be able to participate. And I can remember when I tried to get a crossing on my own, and he was questioning me, and I was like, I know that was dog so and so, and he's like, well, I don't, this is your first time, and anywho,
right.
So that kind of started the whole thing. And then hell, right down the street, one of the most successful guys that ever field trialed, Bruce Clyburn, Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Was right down the street. We deer hunted with him. Got a chance to watch some really nice dogs that he was hunting, and let him tell you what to look for. And so that was kind of a cheat code there.
Right.
And then they've got a fox pen that Buddy Taylor runs. Bruce, Bruce built the pen on Buddy's land, and they run. Got a chance to go over there with them and run in the fox pen, and Bruce and the boys opened some doors for me, getting in some pens, and then we've got several other real successful guys right here from right around home. I mean, you look at Lewis Callahan, successful as anybody. You've got several people that are right here. Haney Height and those boys, they're actually from right here around the house. Stone Mill, they won and did well in a pile of hunts.
Right.
Still are clicking right along.
Well, man, I mean, you're talking about some legends here. I mean, every name that you're talked about so far is just, I mean, one's already a Hall of Famer, and the rest of them are bound to be going that direction. Yeah.
It's special. You got the pen I'm running in tonight. Brian and Blair Dalton's pen. Brian and Blair have been super good to me. Blair placed in any field trial you ever want to talk about, the USO, the All-American, all of those hunts.
Right.
He was straight from Mr. LeGrand. A.A. LeGrand. He's right here. His home plate and fox pens about 15 minutes from home. We deer hunt all around it. It's a ton of fox hunting heritage right here in Southside Virginia, and it's really motivating to try to carry on. That when the results get printed out, they see South Hill, Virginia, or something like that. And but all in all, man, it's been the joy of this thing with my brother that's really kept me going. I don't know if I would do it near as much if he wasn't doing it and didn't enjoy it. And I don't know if he'd probably say the same thing.
Right.
He's super competitive, man, and when we get a chance to do something special and know that we did it and had a chance to do it with, maybe it's something off of our dogs, or
right.
It makes it real special.
Yeah. That's huge. I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I've got a 2-year-old little boy now that is, I'm not going to say that he went deer hunting with me a day, and he's been to the fox pen with me a couple times. I took him to a puppy hunt this year, and we finished second, and he cried because he like on it.
Right.
So I like that, because maybe he'll be competitive like I am. I really hope that maybe he'll join in with us, when time comes. I don't want to wish his life away.
Right.
But it's the heritage. I want to pass it down to him. Yep. I want to pass him maybe a line of dogs that he can go back and see his uncle and his dad's name in them, and
right.
Kind of like I go back now and I see my grandfather's name. It's a dog named Cleaton's Jed.
Yep.
And so that Beechwoods Okie, which was my great uncle's dog, was out of Cleaton's Jed. And Beechwoods Okie, I believe Clyburn's Christie crossed through umpteen champions and stuff. And
right.
You see it if you look far enough back in the generations now, and it's just like it's really satisfying to know, like, hey, that was my grandfather.
Yeah.
That was my great uncle's dog, and then Bruce bred to him, which is like an uncle to me. He's family, and look at what they did with that. So
right.
I wanting Tate, my son, to be able to look at that, and maybe share it with his son one day. That, hey, look, Uncle Football and your granddaddy did this and did that. So
right.
Super family oriented, man. My dad's getting into it a little bit now. He's always been into it some, but he's helping us raise some puppies, and he loves to shoot the shotgun. He loves to deer hunt. So if we got a deer dog that's not as good in the fox pen, we got to keep it around for him.
You said your little boy is 2 already?
Yes, sir. He'll be 3 next July.
Oh man, we're in trouble then if if we're all able to do this and pass it along. My little boy turns 2 next month, so we're gonna be in trouble with them kind of boys being the same age.
Yeah, man. Yeah, turned puppies yesterday, and I pulled a puppy out and gave it to Wormer, and I handed it to him. I said, because he wanted to hold one, obviously. And
Right.
next thing you know, the puppy's standing on his head, laughing and carrying on. So
I love
it. If anything else, they'll be tough.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. Well, that's awesome, man. Like I love, like I said, man, you had some super big legends. I mean, golly, I mean, you can't ask for much better on people to how do I say it, to kind of lean on and take advice from. Like that's something dreams are made of, getting to this sport. So that's man, that's an incredible background on how you got in here, man.
Man, lucky. I kind of say it's the right spot at the right time.
Right.
But I like I said, it's some more people now. John Monar said it on your podcast. It's some younger guys in this sport that are doing some things that'll turn your head, man. That's really impressive. And so it is. I always say the biggest room in the house is the room for improvement.
Now I like that.
So it's always open ears, and if you get around somebody like Frank Patterson or get around Doug Boehm or anybody like that at a field trial, I always got to keep a side eye to see if I can catch a trick or something that could put me in the victory lane.
Right. And you talk about the All-American. That was one of the things that I've heard so many people say. I forgot who it was, on one of the episodes was like, man, and he's like, the best part about it is when the day's done, at the end of the day, all them legends of the sport that still are able to get down there and be a part of it are sitting around the fire barrel telling stories. He's like, and at that point, all you do is sit down, shut up, and listen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I can remember some guys coming. Danny Carroll, he placed a pile of dogs and won and done well 1 day, 3 day. He used to come to Joe Lewis's especially when we could have coyotes in Virginia.
Right.
And we could sit right there on that dirt road at Joe's, and he could tell you stories that I couldn't begin to retell them, but I feel like they help guide me along the way and guide us along our way in trying to be competitive and stay competitive.
I love it. So, that's a good little segue into, one of the things I brought you, I wanted to hear from your kind of opinion and your side of it, with all the things that you've learned from those guys and seeing how the sport has changed, what are you looking for in a dog? I know we said heart and stuff like that, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. What exactly are you looking for in a dog that makes you say, okay, that dog right there, that's going to be my next Humpy, or that's going to be my next, I'm going to be able to put a CH in front of that name right there. What are you looking for in a dog?
Man, it's I don't know how many conversations you've seen and heard, and people will talk about, what kind of dog does it take at Billy Pools, and what kind of dog does it take at Creedmoor, and
right.
9 times out of 10, the answer to the question is going to be a fast track running dog.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And that's it. A fast track running dog is gonna put you where you need to be. I don't care what you're running. I don't care what you're doing. And that's gonna be the start of what you want.
Right.
My brother and I, just a couple things that I really like, and we really like is, I'd really like a dog that hustles. And I don't care if it's a dog barking 8 miles due east.
Right.
When that dog is traveling to that pack of dogs, you better be running as fast as you can.
Yeah.
You've got to give him everything you got to get there. and show that to me. I love a dog that hustles good, and my one of my favorite things is a good mouth, a mouth that I can pick out.
Right.
If it's 100 dogs running a red fox, I want to be able to pick my dogs out. And I'm really lucky to get a chance to run by myself right much. I run every Tuesday morning at Hawtree, Joey Ross's pen.
Yeah.
And I get a chance to kind of really learn the dog's mouths, and you can just about once you learn them, sit right there at the fire barrel, and I can you get used to it. You can just about tell where they are in the race.
Right.
What they're I can tell you what they sound like when they pick up a check. And so a good mouth I really like. The bitch that came by here earlier, Spice, she's by Zeke, and a bitch we had named Diamond. She's a mate to the dog Brett and Benson them that I had named Rio.
Yeah.
He was a couple times in a field, I think, and
Yeah.
then they got another bitch litter mate to him that was a duel. But she's got a mouth that I can pick out of 1,000. I can tell you when she's coming. I can tell you where she is in the race, and most of the time, if you're listening to her, she's up towards the front end.
Old Zeke throws, man. He throws some good stuff.
He's don't tell everybody that.
Right.
But really like the puppies we've had off of Zeke. Got a chance to hunt with Zeke a lot, even when he was young. Dogs have a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Dogs are very smart dogs. Zeke was a very smart dog, and that goes a long way.
Yep. Yep. I love it, man. That was one of the first multi-day hunts I judged. I got to watch Zeke, and I've said it a million times on this podcast, but man, it was, God, I'll never forget being able to watch him the first time. And when I did it, I've told the story a million times, but I didn't know who he was, but I damn sure picked up on him and followed him around, and man, he was a pleasure to watch.
Yes, sir. He is. He's a special dog. Zeke's dad, Costa, was a extremely nice hound. He had a big booming mouth like Zeke. So it's in the bloodline. But going back to it, man, I love a dog with a good mouth.
Yep.
Big calling mouth. I love it.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. And like I said, I like a dog that hustles. I like a dog that any dog, when we're running in these fox pens, any dog makes the road some. If they're not using the road a little bit, they're probably behind.
Right.
They're using the road when they get it, they better handle business.
Yeah, and that makes sense, And I guess that's one of the things that I guess a lot of people are kind of, depending on what pen you're looking for, sometimes that's what you're looking for, and sometimes that's what you're not. Like you said, that a lot of times dogs are going to be in the road, but I can't stand a dog that gets in the road and just wants to trot up the road. I'm 100% with you. If you get in the road and you fall out of a chase, you better grab a freaking gear and go find another one.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I the trotting and all that's to be what it be. Some dogs don't travel as good,
right?
And will, when they get in a race, will kick your tail.
That's true. It's true.
I've seen it happen. But I like a dog that travels well. I just it has always been one of my things. We're not going to waste our time getting there. We're going to get there as fast as we can get there.
I like it. So when getting into the sport, what year did you say you started getting into the field trial world again? I think you said it, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
Man, I couldn't tell you. I know we went to a Virginia State at Billy's that it was over 700 dogs, and that had to be that. I think that was probably one of our first 3-day field trials. So that had to be when I was about maybe 12 or 13. So
at least 15 years ago?
That's 17, 18 years ago.
Right. Right. So What have you noticed in, I love asking this question because I like, it's a genuine question that I ask almost on all these shows, but what have you noticed in particular about the way the dogs have changed since that time? Since you got into what they're doing now, what's one of the bigger changes that you've seen or that you've noticed the most out of dogs?
That's also a loaded question.
Right. I'm throwing them on you tonight.
I I don't know if the dogs have changed that much. I think the hunters have changed more than the dogs. I think the rules have changed more than the dogs. And it's natural evolution for the man that's competing to try to get his dogs prepared for the set of rules he's going to compete by.
Okay. All right.
I really think, you just think about it. Most, some people still do it. I still do it on occasion. Most everybody used to come and turn loose at dusky dark and be back at the crack of dawn the next morning to catch.
Right.
Most everybody now, and do that once a week. So you run them 10, 11 hours at one time once a week. Nowadays, most everybody that's competition hunting, for the most part, I'd say, is running 2 to 3 times a week for 3 to 5 hours.
Right. Right.
So I think it's all, I'm not saying that the dogs, 17, 18, 50 years ago were better or worse, or the dogs today are better or worse. But the way that us as hunters have trained them and what we're asking of these dogs is a little different.
That's an interesting point. I don't think I've heard anybody put it like that, but it really does make a whole lot of sense.
I think, I honestly believe this. If you take a litter of puppies that are, you're ready to start them, they're 7, 8, 9 months old, and you train them and you start out by running them all night. I think you'll see some of the traits that you saw in some of the dogs 15 years ago. Right. I think, the staying out there power.
Right.
A lot of that's in your paperwork as well. If you go back the generations and see dogs out there that made field champions, they had to stay in power. I always say you screw it in them, and I hate to use that, but when you're breeding dogs, you're screwing in what the paperwork, man.
Yeah.
Three generations ago is Clyburn Rock. Clyburn Rock was a champion of champions.
Right.
Or here we go. It's Hayner Slinger. He was a champion of champions. Yep. It's a lot in the. Some of it's the paperwork. Some of it's the how you train them.
Right.
Like you spoke about Dennis Scott, 50%'s the houndsman. I would almost say it's probably a little bit more than 50%.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. And I forgot who told me this a while back when I was first getting into it. Because, when I first got into it, I didn't know no better. I thought that was the thing. I thought you brought them in and, as early as you could cast and you got them up as late as you could pick them up. And I don't know if there's any truth to it or not, and maybe there is. But I was told at one point, and like I said, maybe this is just a theory, but the guy told me that if you're training a dog to run for 12 hours, I'm just throwing a number out there. I know it's not 12 hours, but say you're running for 10 to 12 hours, that dog's going to learn to pace himself for those 10 to 12 hours. And if
I agree.
And if you're running for 4 hours or 5 hours, that dog's going to pace himself for the 5. So he's going to be able to give you a lot more in that 5. So I'm almost wondering if that's why people started doing it this way instead of running the all-nighters.
I think so. I mean, and the game has changed some. It wasn't as many pins, I don't think. If you think back to 30 or 40 years ago, that have the amount of game that some of these coyote pins have.
Right.
It's a different type of athlete. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a dog that's gotta put out and run as fast as he can for 5 hours, 3 days in a row.
Right. Right.
So it's natural evolution, I think. I really don't think that it's as much on the dog. I think it's certainly more on the man or woman feeding them.
You know that I love that. Nobody has made that point from that angle yet, and that's exactly why I asked it. You know, I know it's a repeat question, but that's an interesting point of view on it. I love that. And I was thinking too while you were saying it, I was like, man, 20, 30, 40 years ago, those guys probably didn't have no choice. They didn't have no GPS collars. They had to keep listening for them dogs, and probably took them 6 hours to try to get them up.
The Garmin definitely made a softer dog.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Softer for the hunters, softer hunters too, because I can tell you tonight when I'm ready to go home, I'm going to holler and tone a few times, and then I'm going to load up and go to the house.
Yes, sir. The Monday night when it was 2 o'clock in the damn morning, I had 10 dogs loaded up by 2:20.
Yes,
it was
sir.
that simple. I love it. Ain't nothing like them things, man.
No, they have definitely made. I don't know about a softer dog, but it's damn sure made a softer hunter.
Right, right. A spoiled ass hunter is what it is. Oh man, so kind of talking about these dogs. We'll keep rolling with this, man. Humpy I've seen Humpy's name quite a few times, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably mostly from y'all stuff, but Humpy seems to be throwing pretty decent right now, ain't he?
Yeah, I like to think so. Anyway, we've had some good luck with some of the bitches we bred to him. Obviously, from what I said earlier, a lot of them have been off of Topsy or grandpuppy off of Topsy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really kind of why I posted him online for stud. That, I don't really know if I'd do him any justice just breeding the same old line of dog to him. I'd like to see him get crossed out.
Right.
On some things. The biggest thing is I didn't want to post him because I didn't want nobody to whoop my ass with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? You kind of give them the keys to the car that beats you, but
that's right.
But the male dog's not everything either. I'm not saying that, but yeah, Humpy is sure been a pleasure from puppy hunting to 1 day hunting to 3 day hunting. Now as a stud dog, I'm hunting. I think I'm hunting 4 or 5 off of him tonight.
Right.
They're nice.
I got you.
A couple of them are real young. The Florida State that we're preparing for right now actually kind of really be their first hunt. I did run a couple of them in a 1 day there at the end of the year before deer season and placed one of them. But this will really be their first hunt, their first opportunity to get their name called. So hopefully they'll get Humpy's name called anyway.
Now, where is that at this year? Is it at OTE again?
Yes, sir. Yep.
I thought so.
It's at OTE.
I thought so. Y'all going to try to make it up here to the Masters?
Yeah. We're gonna see how OTE goes and look our hand over, see how our dogs are looking. But
right. That's
certainly a lot of chance, a lot of opportunity as it being that close to home.
Yeah. Me and MJ were talking about that the other day. Like, we were like, man, do we go? I'm like, well, how many times do we get the chance to go to the Masters and it being in our backyard pretty much?
Yeah.
Why not take 1 or 2 dogs and at least go and even if you just even playing with it, it's you never know. Yeah,
I'll tell you this, it'll be a great hunt. I've heard nothing but good things about how the pen's running and all the work Demo's been doing down there, and the Masters will bring the prizes and the goodies for the hunters. So I can imagine it'll be a great hunt.
Yeah. And like you said, Demo's putting in the work, man. He's doing an excellent job. I'm pretty excited for it. I can't wait to get down there. That's for sure. But we were talking about stud dogs, and what you kind of look for in a dog. Is there any studs out there? Obviously you want to Is there any stud dogs out there that you want to, that you're? I mean, obviously you want to promote Humpy, but is there any other stud dogs that are out there right now that you're really like impressed with? That's throwing good stuff. That what you like to see?
Man, you heard of Zeke bitch lead a race by here just a little bit ago.
There you go.
And
Zeke's, white dog power, man.
Yeah, man. I like Bobby Parker. I like that. Shout out to Bobby Parker, white dog power.
No.
No, Zeke's, I like him. There she is there. She might not bark him, but they're going across the clear cut over.
I can hear him. I can just hear him in the background.
Yeah. Zeke's throwing dogs that are a lot like him with a ton of sense, plenty of athleticism. A dog that I've seen some puppies out of. I have 2 that I'm running now off of him, and raised a bunch off of him. I got 4 off of a Zeke bitch. Is the dog that Brandon Wisnett and Joey Ross bought from Brian Gaillot, Gaillot's Whiting.
Okay.
He is throwing some pups that I really like. They got really nice clear mouths for the most part. That I've noticed. I got a female that's got a real kind of a male dog chop mouth, but
right,
real clear pick out of a crowd. Plenty of athleticism. And these are red, but he's a white dog. That's even a bigger perk, but
right.
He's a dog that I think it will throw you a nice puppy. Obviously, Chrome has thrown some good ones.
Yep. I love some Chromes. I got some Chromes in my. We're going to be running this year that I'm pretty excited about, and man, they're strong, man, strong freaking dogs.
Yeah, we're hunting 2 right now, two Jip litter mates, and I surely wouldn't be afraid to breed to Chrome. Man, it's a lot of nice dogs.
Yeah.
But really in this area that we hunt in, that it's a really a bunch of nice dogs. Colby Taylor's got several good dogs up there. He had a dog named Flame off of Valentine's Ike, that threw a dog that I really liked. We actually had a Jip off of Flame that never did well field trialing, but pleasure hunting and grudge hunting or going to try to beat your buddy, she was real good.
Right.
Liked her a lot. He's got several good dogs. He's got the rooster dog up there.
I'll say that, and that dog seems to be throwing pretty good. I keep seeing that one pop up more and more.
Yeah. Dog coming here is named Bull. He got a big mouth. He's a pretty good dog.
Oh yeah.
He sounds good, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
The rooster, we actually just raised the litter out of him, out of rooster. She had 8, and we got them spread all out. Colby got a few, I got a few, and Brian Dalton got a few.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
gotcha.
He's got some dogs. And Little Mule is probably going to start breeding to old John Deere some. I know he's breeding some of his bitches to him. But he's sure enough. He's got the record, and I think he'll produce. He comes from a great family of dogs.
Yeah, I was gonna mention him. I was gonna tell you, man. I can't wait to see what Mule throws with those. They ought to be some strong dogs. That's for sure.
Yeah, Little Mule's lucky. He's got some good bitches to put up under him. So it'll probably work out real well. Real lucky, man. The friend group that we field trial with, that hang out with, pleasure run with, deer hunt with.
Right.
Been enough to have some nice dogs and breeding at our house or your buddy's house. It makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But it's several stud dogs out there, man, and the stud dog gets a ton of credit, and you're talking to a man that is promoting the stud dog. The stud dog gets a ton of credit, but if you don't have the nice jip to put up under him, that makes all the difference in the world.
That's right. That's right. That's right. And a lot of people talk about, I hope I don't word this incorrectly. A lot of people want a stud dog because a stud dog can carry you a lot more. You can breed a stud dog, 100 times a year, and you can make a little money off of him. But a brood bitch, you're only going to get 2 litters out of her at max, and that's if you push her a year. So I mean, that's hard on a girl, and it's hard. I got a jip right now, and I'm using as a brood bitch, and I've already got 3 litters out of her, and I got to give her a break on this next one, and it's tough with just one. That's tough.
It is, man. The gyps don't normally get the amount of credit that they need, but
yeah.
You talk about the wanting a skipper. I don't know of a time. Now Topsy missed a couple times, but I don't know of a time in the last 8 years that we've skipped Topsy. And if she happens to come back in heat, I won't be afraid to breed her again.
Okay.
Man, she's been super. She's still just as spry as a puppy. You get to the dog pen in the evenings to feed her, and she's trotting the wire.
I love it. I love it. A lot of people hate that kind of stuff, but man, I love it, man. That just I don't know.
Fired up.
I think it was. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I know they're ready to go hunting. I hate it while I'm there, but when they're barking, I feel like I got a headache because they're barking and raising Cain. But and the fact you find you like it because when you're ready to go hunting, they're ready to go hunting.
Yep. I got some screwed up stuff that I raised off that brood jip, and it was also some tree stock dog of mine, but I needed to keep that. That's a long story. That's a rabbit hole. But anyway, I got some off of that dog, to keep that family name in, and then off a brood jip, and she's the old sergeant bitch. And man, them dogs, every time you go to the lot, it makes you want to throw something at them. But good Lord, they ain't but 7 months old now, but I know damn good and well once they get rolling really good, they're never going to quit. I don't know how I'm going to stop them.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to throw one more plug in for a line of dogs.
Yeah.
Bo Hersey, D&H Kennels out of Florida. Man, we met them. We actually met them at Creedmoor. They came up to a hunt and then have gone down there to the Florida State the last few years and got a chance to really hang out with them. And man, I'm telling you, they got a line of dogs that's strong. That got a ton of speed. Ton of respect for him. He's got, I'd say 99.9% of what he's hunting is off of his male and his bitch. So he's put in the work. He's a hard worker.
I think a lot of those dogs just placed last weekend, right?
Maybe so. I don't know. I know he came up to Vaden's a couple times this year to the World Cup, and I think maybe the Tennessee State.
Right.
But they are super nice people, and they keep a damn good dog. When they show up somewhere, you better have your ducks in a row.
I love it. Well, man, we are creeping up. Actually, we're going over a little over an hour now. So, I kind of sent you a couple things to do a closing topic. I forgot to ask you before we started recording, but I don't know if you remember what they were off the top of your head. If there was anything particular that you wanted to speak on, do you remember them all, or do I need to kind of refresh you?
I think I'll talk about a little bit of kind of where I think I'll see the sport in a few years.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's roll with it, man.
And I appreciate everybody that was up there in Richmond here earlier this week and fighting a good fight. I couldn't make it this time due to work, but
right.
What I hope to see in the next 5 to 10 years is more togetherness. Everybody fighting the same fight. We see even in the field trialing world, it's common ground everywhere. Let's stand on that common ground and fight the good fight together.
I like that.
I think there's, like I said earlier, it's a ton of room for improvement. That's the biggest room. Um, Everybody talks about the bad eggs, this and the bad eggs, that.
Right.
But if enough of the good eggs call out the bad eggs, we can weed those out.
That's right. That's
right. Todd Miller is a leader in the fact of he's gotten into the political side of it and has a staple. You have done that. It's several people have taken the stand. I want to pass it down to my little boy. He's 2 years old. Said that earlier.
right.
I'm 30. When he's 30, I want him to pass it down to his 2-year-old.
Yeah. Yep.
We can all fight the same fight. We can do, a band of brothers and sisters can do that. Do the right things.
Yep.
If you need help, ask questions. Anybody out here in this sport will help you.
Yeah. I agree.
That's the main thing.
I agree, man. And and on that, and I think I forgot who I was talking to about it, but man, I think people have really started to take heed to that too. And I think you're 100% right. This is the most banded together I've ever seen all the forms of hound hunting probably in my lifetime. I think it's probably the tightest I've seen everybody.
Yeah, and I hope it continues to get better.
Yeah.
I hope it can get tighter. I hope people they understand that some of the bills and laws that are being brought in don't just affect deer dogs.
Right.
They don't just affect coon dogs or rabbit dogs or bird dogs. They affect if you want to walk your dog down your street, not on a leash.
Right.
It's a lot. It has a ton of implications, and
right.
I know this year deer hunting, was one of the best years we've had as far as killing nice bucks and killing some killing deer. But that wasn't the biggest goal. We had a ton of good interaction with the landowners. We made it a point. We made it a point to introduce ourselves to folks, and we actually deer hunt right next to the Occoneechee State Park there in Clarksville, Virginia, and introducing ourselves to the park rangers and say, hey, all I'm in here doing is trying to get the dogs out of here so the folks in here that are camping or walking can enjoy their stay. And
right.
we have a ton of good interactions just with the visitors saying, hey, the dogs sound really good. We saw the deer and the dogs, and a little bit of kindness goes a long way.
That's right.
So, and John Monar said this on the podcast you guys had together.
Right.
If you just do the right thing, if you continue to do the right thing and setting the examples for the younger folks, I can guarantee you that they'll do the right thing too.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
And it's I think that'll flow through the fox pen. Through the fox pen world, a ton of people. I know you talked about deer hunting right much in the podcast. A ton of people have no idea what a fox pen is.
Right.
They think that we're turning these dogs loose in here tonight, and our goal is to catch the game. But I mean, why would we want to do that? Because we've got to run the
right.
12 bunt.
Exactly. I know. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, our goal is to get we set up these getaways for the game, man-made dens and stuff. We want the fox to get away,
right,
to a point.
Right.
It is not our goal to come in here and kill everything that we run. It's
yep.
Like I said, you're a leader in this. Yeah, I saw where you took some folks out deer hunting that had never done it before, or have only done it a couple times and got a bad taste in their mouth, and continue to for everybody to do that, and everybody put in their their efforts, and I think we'll be in a really good spot. And
Heck yeah, man. Well, I appreciate that too.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. And it's funny you were talking about the pins. I was talking to a guy the other day at work, and he said, I told him that, yeah, I went running last night. I was like, he said, well, how many did you get? I said, what are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, how many did you get? You went and ran the foxes. I said, I didn't get none of them. What? And then, like you said, I had to explain it to him, and he had no idea. Like you said, like he thought that every time we go out there, it was trying to catch him. I'm like, no. I was like, absolutely not. And you know what? Another thing, I love telling this story. There's a pen that I like to run, and when you pull in, it's usually 2 or 3 coyotes sitting there at the gate looking at you and waiting on you to drop the tailgate. They're waiting on you. It's a game to them. It's 100% a game to them, and they love it. They'll just run around in loops all night long. They don't care. They enjoy it.
Yeah. They a lot of this game lives the life of luxury, in all honesty.
Right. Right.
But yeah, man, that's kind of all I had to say about it. It's everybody's got the same end goal that owns a dog. They want to pass it on to a generation behind them. And if you don't do that, hold on, we get one last.
I was gonna say they screaming.
And that's the thing, man. It's truly a special sport. I get the chance to spend time with my brother. We don't live together in the same house anymore, but I still get to see him every day.
Right.
Because we got 40 dogs to feed.
Right. Right.
So it's truly awesome. If you use it in the right ways, it'll be one of the biggest blessings in your life.
Yep.
So,
I agree.
I don't know what I would do. I'd hate to know what my life would be like without it. I don't know what I would do. Probably don't know what I would do.
Yeah. The guy at work literally asked me today, he's like, he asked me how Monday went, and I was like, man, I think it went pretty good. And he was like, what are you going to do if they outlaw it? I was like, man, I don't know. I was like, I would highly consider moving. I said, that sounds drastic, but I would highly consider moving to, go down to Carolina and move down there, or move at least a little bit closer to it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I'm close enough to Carolina, to be able to experience the still being able to run coyotes and stuff in the pens. And
right.
Special shout out to Fat Rat. I'm gonna throw him out there as somebody that asked to be one of your guests on the podcast. He would be a ton of fun to talk to.
Oh yeah, he's a character, that's for sure.
Yeah, special shout out to him for Tuesday mornings at his place. And obviously Brian.
I don't know how your dog's got any tails left.
Most of them don't.
I didn't figure.
Most of them don't. Hawtree is just as thick as they come. But
that's for damn sure.
To keep a first class place to run your dogs, and Brian and Blair, where I'm running at tonight, and it's so many people like that you really don't know the work into the fox pen. I know. Probably about a month ago now, we had a big rain, and Brian called me and said, hey, look, I've got a big problem. I need your help. And luckily I could get off and go help him. But one of his pipes had gotten clogged up and washed down about 50 foot of fence, or maybe a touch more. And it's a thing that I'll challenge everybody that doesn't own a fox pen, that when those type of weather events and things happen, to be somebody to call,
right,
to come help, because it's a hell of a lot of work. I can tell you, he worked in the pen. I helped him for 5 hours one day, and he worked in the pen, mostly by himself. Brian did for the next 4 or 5 days, just making sure the hot wire was good and other. So it is a hell of a lot of work to provide a product for us with dogs, and give us an opportunity to run and not have to worry about the tar roads or being on someone else's land or anything like that.
I'm telling you, man, that they're the unsung heroes of this sport, man. And, you know, these pen owners go unrecognized a lot more than what they really should. And if it weren't for them, obviously we wouldn't even have the sport. Well, at least on the field trial side of it, we wouldn't have it. So, you know, like you said, I know Doug Vuko, I was talking to him the other day, and he's like, when that rain come through, a tree landed on his fence, and I think he said he had like 10 or 11 guys show up within an hour of calling them. And I think by 4 hours, they had the fence back up and better looking than what it was before.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. I said it earlier, but it's a band of brothers and sisters. James Ray, think about what all he has to deal with there at Creedmoor. That's a 800-acre facility that holds many, many hunts. And you know, think about the miles of fence that he has to care for and caring for. It is most definitely a full-time job, and I think you're right about the unsung hero. It's definitely a position that's taken for granted by a ton of people that feed dogs.
Yep, I agree with you, man. Well, man, I've really enjoyed this, and I think this is going to make for a good one, and I hope everybody listening out there enjoyed it. And Clint, thank you again for coming on, man. Is there anybody else that you need to shout out before you get off here?
I don't know if there's anybody I need to shout out. I just shout out you, James. Thank you for what you're doing. Keep on doing you, man. The podcast is awesome. I don't know if I've listened to all the episodes, but I try to listen to all I can. And you know, just keep on doing it. And if you ever need anything, man, give me a holler.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate that a lot. So, all right, guys, everybody out there, you're listening, thank y'all so much for listening again. Make sure if you have not subscribed yet, make sure you hit that subscribe or like and follow button on whatever platform you're listening. And like always, guys, we'll catch you next time, and happy hunting.